I love it. And I feel right at home here this morning because I'm part of the family. You are family, right? Yeah, that's what we're going to be talking about today is family. I approve it. I like them. I like to be part of a family. I hope you do too. Hey, think of a past time, a wonderful memory that you have had in your mind about a special family time. Just think about it for a moment. Okay, you thought about it? All right, you got that moment. Does it give you a warm feeling like togetherness, sweetness, love, wonderful things? Yeah, back in my early youth, me and my family, well, my family and me, oftentimes went to the western slope of Colorado for peach harvest. My grandparents were peach growers. So every August and the first part of September, we would go there, and it was a wonderful time. But the point of the story is that my grandmother always fixed a wonderful dinner for everyone. We sat in the little dining room around a Duncan 5 drop leaf table. Anybody know what a Duncan 5 drop leaf table is? Well, look it up sometime. Anyway, I remember, you know how things along your life that you remember, you don't know why you remember them? But in that particular moment, it stuck, and I remember it to this day. She says, it is so good to have the family all together. I remember that. Of course, they've been gone a long time, but my wife and I inherited that little table. And we had it, and every time that I would look at that little table, I would think of my grandmother and her comments about family. So we're going to talk about family today, but I have an emphasis about time. Family members are wonderful, but they have to be taken in the context of time. Time is a continuum. Things happen in time. And so my theme today is be intentional with time. Even God was intentional. He gave us time, and He gave us the Sabbath, which is time to experience Him in time. So let's talk about time. Not enough time. Slow time. Fast time. A double time. It was a boring time. A happy time. Oh, I'm just killing time. Time took forever. Time to come, and time to go, time of the end of time, and there's probably many, many more. You know the passage in Ecclesiastes 3, there's a time for everything. Season and every activity under heaven, time to be born, time to die, plant, uproot, kill, heal, wear down, time to build, a time to weep and a time to laugh, and it goes on talking about time. Ecclesiastes 3. But in this particular moment, I would like for you to imagine in your mind's eye that you are all family athletes in time. You're family athletes in time. This is our field, and this is the arena that you do life in. Nobody sits on the bench. Everyone plays in the arena of time and family. And you've heard it said, batter up. Well, I'm going to tell you today, you need to time up. Allison and Andy. Imagination, young couple. They get married, they love each other. They spend a few moments before they go their separate ways through the day. They come back, they're excited to see each other, but soon the husband comes home late. The wife says, I can't be there till later tonight. And things drop away because they have not spent time together. One day the husband says, he doesn't come home at all at night. And she says, where were you? He says, well, you don't expect me to come home every night, do you? They've lost the magic of time, of being together. Bob and Betty, perhaps they have young kids. Bob works hard all the time. The kids do their thing. They go to school. They go to their activities. The father's never around. Who are you, Dad? Dad, I want you to come to my event. I can't. I don't have time. Well, you don't have a relationship because you don't take time. Time up. Family time is not a matter of convenience. It's a matter of priority. And I'll tell you that I wish sometimes that I could edit some things out of my own life, my own parenting. We can't do that, but I wished I could. You know, back in the day when I was into my profession and I was pastoring a large church in Arkansas, and I was busy and I was doing my thing and helping people and going to meetings and seeing people I would tell my daughter, I'm going to be home at 5 o'clock tonight. And then something would come up and I didn't get home at 5 o'clock. And then it got to be 6:30 and 7:30 and 8 o'clock, and I got home and he says, Dad, where were you? You said you'd be home at 5. Well, something came up. She says, something always comes up. And it cut like a knife into my heart because I had not focused on time. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the seasons of time in a family. The first is springtime. Springtime is when you do the early care and education in a home family. And these principles apply to all the different seasons of family, but let's go through them a little bit. The early care and the education. I was thinking of what family had wonderful early education. And I thought of Moses. Now, the Bible doesn't say much about Moses, but we do know that the Pharaoh's daughter came and picked Moses out of the bulrushes and said, you want to take care of him for the first 12 years? Because, and so they educated Moses and to make sure that he knew his God, that he was dedicated to his family, that he would never lose his sense of identity. Do you know who Moses' parents are? Bible trivia? Talk to me. Moses' parents? Amram and Jochebed. But it doesn't say about the name of the parents in Exodus, the 1st and 2nd chapter. You don't get to the parents of Moses until Exodus, the 6th chapter, in the lineage. But you know where I learned about Amram and Jochebed? Probably in Sabbath school or in the Bible storybooks. Because at an early age, my parents took time to educate me and teach me about the Bible stories. And Hebrews 11 says that Moses was a beautiful and exceptional child. And he was, you know the story, Moses, he was later called to lead God's people out of Egypt. But it was because of his early childhood training that was so important in the springtime of the family. There are three short things here about the importance of springtime. It's a time to teach and to read, to help create attention and imagination. And parents' devices are not helping with this. You know, devices are not helping in this. It takes away the time with the family. It scrambles the kids' brains so that they have ADD and they're not focusing and they're not hearing the stories in the early childhood education. So teach and read and even stories of adventure, and take time to read them to them. I remember in my single digits, Dad came home after being at the church and caught me and my brothers and my mother, and we were doing backflips off the dresser onto our single beds. Because Mom was spending time with us. She was reading stories, and little boys are rambunctious, and those were special moments. And Dad says, "Edith May, what are you doing?" She says, "Well, boys will be boys." We were together in time. The second thing is, besides educate and emphasize imagination and attention, is cast vision for young children. Cast vision. An acquaintance, a dad came home after traveling away for some time, and his 4-year-old daughter presented him with a piece of paper and had scribbles all over it. And he says, "Hey, Daddy, while you were away, I learned how to write. Can you tell me, what does it say?" The dad almost froze for a moment, like, "What do I say?" But then he gave it a thought, and he says, "Well, it says that you're a 4-year-old girl, and that you want to learn to write, and that you want to share whatever you write with your father, and you are going to be a great writer one day." And the little girl says, "Daddy, does it say all that?" He said, "Yes, it says all that." So cast vision in the young mind. Tell them what they can become. The third thing in this particular area of early childhood development is to celebrate life. Celebrate. Families need to celebrate. Another story, and a preacher that I've heard preach in person and have some of his books in my library, is John Ortberg. And he tells the story of helping take care of his young children. And, it was bath time, and he had 3 kids. Get them all bathed and showered, and get them all ready for bed and everything. And the first 2 kids were good, but that last little girl got out of the tub, and you know how kids like to run around after they're wet. And she was singing, "It's a doo-dah day, it's a doo-dah day," and running and couldn't be caught. "It's a doo-dah day." And he says, "Mallory, hurry up. Quit this doo-day stuff." And she says, "Why?" And then it came to his mind, this was a moment of celebration. So he changed his attitude, and he started running around the same thing. "It's a doo-dah day, it's a doo-dah day." And the little girl says, "Daddy, you do a pretty good doo-dah day." So these moments make deep impressions in the minds of families, because families in the springtime have so much to learn, to grow together, to celebrate, to teach in the springtime. Now, the summertime of life is a time of activity. That's where you start to teach values. And also, summertime can be a little challenge. You teach faith and lifestyle, and oftentimes in the summertime of life, certain members of the family test the limits. I remember traveling, getting ready for school, traveling down the elevator at Denver Dry Goods in Denver. And at the bottom of the stairs, this was back in the day, I'll date myself, there was the song that was real popular. It was "Hot Down Summer in the City, back of my neck getting burned and pretty." That song just captured me. It was hot. And I wanted to hear it. There was a band playing it right there in the store. I kind of stopped, and my dad said, "Come on, Bruce, come on. We don't have time for that." But I also remember that it was a time when I started to develop my value system, and I also tested the limits of a little bit of rebellion here and there, having an attitude, whatever. And A family that comes to mind in the summertime of life was Isaac and Rebekah. The two boys, Jacob and Esau. Jacob and Esau were twins, but they had totally different aspirations in life. We're not going to tell the story, but Jacob was Rebekah's favorite, and Esau was Isaac's favorite, and then they deceived the dad, and then they separated and went away, and the family was broken, and it was a mess. Still is a mess. No job or position or status is more important than timing up in the summertime. Summertime is a time that you need to time up and spend quality time with your family. We were serving in Arkansas at this particular time, and my youngest daughter was in high school, academy at Ozark Academy, where we were working. And one Saturday night in the middle of the night, my wife woke up and 2 o'clock in the morning, and she just woke up. She says, "Go check Angela's room." So I went and checked Angela's room, and she wasn't in her room. The window was open. So we waited. And we waited and we waited. And pretty soon Angela came back with Billy. She didn't come back in the bedroom through the window because we met her out front. And we kind of had a heart-to-heart talk. And I took that big young girl into my arms and held her in our recliner, and I says, "Angela, we love you. We care for you. But you can't do this. You belong to the family. We're concerned about you." And years later, she says, "Dad, I never doubted your love for me." It was a growth opportunity in the summertime of the family. So summertime love is, family love is a time to affirm. The kids are looking for authenticity. They're looking for honesty. They're looking for role models that don't have double standards in their life. But more than that, they're looking for just time to be spent with them. So they're not ignored or they're bypassed over. In my early childhood development, I remember my dad telling me, he says, "As you show yourself more responsible and trustworthy, the more opportunities you will have to be independent." The third season is the fall. We got springtime and summertime. Fall time doesn't sound right, does it? It's just the fall. But fall is still a time. I think the biblical story that most aptly illustrates the experience of fall is the story of Ruth and Orpah and Naomi and then Boaz down the way. Because this is a time when mom and dad start to become coaches and counselors to their kids. The kids have already started to develop their own personhood, but they still need a little bit of direction and guidance and a little bit of counseling. The relationships are a little bit more mature, and this is a time when you have those talks, those long talks at the kitchen table or on the bedside into the wee hours of the night. Or when you have your daughter or your son call you on the phone and say, "Mom or Dad, I want to run something by you. What do you think?" If you have timed up in the springtime and the summertime, then you will have time in the fall. It's kind of also a role reversal when the kids may say, "Dad or Mom, let me give you a little counsel." And you like it because you have high relationship in the experience of family. It's a time when you say, I want you. I love you. I need you. You give me strength. I'm affirmed by you. You give me hope. Fall is a wonderful time. So time up in fall. Then there's winter time. There's a few of us in this room who aren't 25 years old anymore. You can tell it because we've been around a little while longer. But the wintertime is not bad. Wintertime is when you become deep friends. Friends. Friends are the best. It's a time of acceptance. And also in the wintertime there could be losses, like my wife and I have experienced losses, and then we have found each other and had our second marriages. Her husband died, my wife died, we met. And we don't really get upset about too much. We just kind of say, life is precious. Wintertime is good. It's sometimes you sit in silence just to be close. And you listen to the still small voice of God as He prompts your heart. And you pray for those who are behind you. Pray for your kids. You pray for your friends. You send a card. You're fiercely loyal and you're helpful. You give a compliment. You're a cheerleader. And you say, what I like most about my home and family is who I share it with. Because family is precious. Time is precious in families. There's a lot of change through the years. Change comes all the time. Embrace the change and keep the relationships. There's one more family that I want to close with this morning. And that's the family of Martha and Mary and Lazarus and Jesus. Now we know that Martha was the best cook in town. She was the caterer in Bethany. Bethany was a couple years from downtown Jerusalem. And there are at least 3 instances in the Gospels where Jesus had encounters with them in their home, in Bethany, but perhaps Jesus stopped there more frequently. Jesus was not homeless. He was itinerant. And he had kind of adopted, if we read between the lines, that Martha and Mary and Lazarus was a nice place to stay. You know, they cooked him meals. He had a place to sleep. And he had varying encounters with them. Now, Mary, was the child, the young person that was a little on the edge, and we can use our holy imagination as to what she did, but it tells us in Luke that when she anointed the feet of Jesus, that she had been forgiven much. She had been forgiven much. And she loved to sit at the feet of Jesus. And Martha, who was worried about getting the meal on, says, Jesus, don't you think Mary should be helping me? Tell Mary to get up and help me. And Jesus says, no, Mary has chosen the best part, to sit at the feet, hear the stories, hear the saving power of God, to be in the family. We don't know too much about Lazarus until he died. John the 11th chapter, word went to Jesus, and then Martha went out as Jesus approached town. And when Martha heard that Jesus was coming, she went out to meet him, but Mary stayed at home. I don't know why Mary stayed at home, but she did. But Martha's first words were, "Lord, if you had been here, my brother would not have died." After all, Lord, you have been in our family. We spent a lot of time together, but this time you were not here. And my brother died. Where were you? If you had only been here. Now I know that you will do what the Father tells you, but you were not here. If only you had been here. The reason I emphasize that is because it gives a little window of a picture of a deep relationship of family. Because sometimes you say things to family you wouldn't say to other people. If you had only been here, we missed you. We need you. We want you. And Jesus says, your brother will rise again. Yeah, I know he'll rise in the resurrection. And then pretty soon she went back. Mary was perhaps too grieved. And Martha said to Mary, "Mary, Jesus is here." So Mary, with the professional mourners, went out to see Jesus, and when Mary reached the place where Jesus was and saw him, she fell at his feet and said the same thing. "Lord, if you had been here, my brother would not have died." And Jesus saw her weeping. And the Jews who had come along were also weeping and were deeply moved in spirit and troubled. And Jesus says, "Where have you laid him? Come and see, Lord." And Jesus wept. He wept because he had lost somebody that was close to him, a family member. Right now, I deal with death and dying on a regular basis with people I see where I work. I'm a professional griever. I help people in their grief. But if one of my family were to die, it would be a totally different story. Because of the high relationship. But Jesus did show up. He did time up. Jesus came when he needed to be there and brought Lazarus back to life. So we come to the moment where I challenge you to time up. Time up. Time up with your family. Families are challenging. They're difficult, sometimes broken, sometimes messy. But Jesus knows all about your family. And so I challenge you to ask him to be in your family, to pray to him. In the springtime, teach and inspire. In the summertime, love and care. In the fall, counsel and be a friend. In the wintertime, a friend through the whole thing. And then hold each other in the sweet embrace of family. It's God's way. And then we are part of family. But one day, God will take his families to live with him forever. So time up. Will you? Will you time up? You're on the field of life. There is no excuse for not timing up. Time up. Love unconditionally. Have a great family. God, I pray that you will bless the families represented in this place. Hold them close and tight to your heart. Help us in our struggles. Give us enough struggles to be dependent and enough joys to celebrate. Wrap your arms around them like a mother holds a newborn child and give them peace. I pray in Jesus' name, amen.
I want to invite everyone to stand.